Faculty of Law, Kurukshetra University. I am Divyansh, final year law student at Institute of Law, Kurukshetra University. And today with us we have Mr. Asim Garg and Mr. Ritik Khurana. And they will be discussing with us about the research part of the Mootcourt and what goes into the preparation while you are doing the research for making a holistic compilation of the compendium or a memorial or your written submissions. So first of all, I'd like to ask a question from Mr. Asim. Asim, please tell our viewers what is research in regard to Mootcourt competition?
See, Divyansh, research basically means systematic study of all the relevant sources that are available to form new conclusions.
Okay.
So, in moot courts, the research part is very important because there is a proposition and you have to thoroughly research to make your arguments. When you read a propo, you will find certain law points, find the issues in that proposition. There comes the role of research.
Okay.
Now you have to analyze those law points and also those issues, and you have to start your research by studying about those law points and the issues.
Right, very correct. Ritik, would you please tell our viewers now what should be the primary consideration for the students, or do I say the researcher, while they start doing the research or they start working on a Mootcourt proposition?
See, Divyansh, firstly they have to read the fact sheet 8 to 10 times so that they will remember all the facts that are given in the proposition.
Right.
And they, as they are reading the fact sheet, they will came up with some low points and about what the issues in the proposition, give a jurisdiction in which court they have to go
File the case or appear before.
and authorities they have to use citation. So firstly they have to have all the sources from where they have to research.
Right, very precisely said as by Mr. Ritik Khurana. Asim, now I would like to ask one thing that Ritik also mentioned. He talked about the jurisdiction of a case. He talked about the area in which the law is to be practiced in a particular moot court. First of all, please tell our viewers what is moot court jurisdiction, and secondly, how can the students find that this is the particular jurisdiction and in this particular court this matter is going to be heard?
See, jurisdiction basically means the area on what type of issue the court has the power to adjudicate that matter.
Okay.
You have to decide or check jurisdiction by the proposition itself. It is provided in the proposition in most of the cases. In case it is not provided, there may be some specific words like whether it is a writ petition, whether it is a special leave petition, whether any appeal has been preferred. So you have to check the jurisdiction by way of proposition only. Sometimes there is no such word written, whether it is a writ petition, or a clarity cannot be made whether it is a writ petition, SLP, or an appellate jurisdiction. So you have to check the historical background of the case.
Right.
You have to first read the proposition,
Right.
then you will get to know the idea where the case was originally instituted.
Okay.
So you have to check the pecuniary jurisdiction of the court, territorial jurisdiction of the court, subject matter jurisdiction of the court. After checking the historical background, suppose the case was instituted in the sessions court, the appeal will be preferred in the high court.
Right.
Suppose the case was instituted by way of writ petition in the high court, then the appeal will lie to Supreme Court. So you have to check by this historical background.
Right.
And after checking that historical background, you will get an idea of the jurisdiction. Now you have to write the statement of jurisdiction. Statement of jurisdiction basically means under what article or under what section you have opposed this present honorable court. There may be writ petition before Supreme Court, Article 32. So these are the jurisdiction of the courts. So you have to check by way of historical background and by way of the proposition that you can check the jurisdiction.
Right.
And I also want to add
Please do.
that as we are searching for jurisdiction, it will also help to find the case laws.
Okay.
That if the cases are in high court, then we can also find the case authorities of the high court, also of other high courts. Or Supreme Court, we all have authorities, we all can mention the authorities of the Supreme Court.
Definitely. Now, Ritik, please tell me, how should the students look for the relevant case law so that they can support their oral arguments? As we know, in a court of law or in the moot court itself, there cannot be any building of castles in the air. Whatever you say, you must back it up either by the provisions or by the case laws or by the precedents. So please tell us, how should the students look for the case laws to support and strengthen their oral arguments?
Right, Divyansh. If a student want to start with the researching here, they support their arguments by the case law.
Okay.
And if they want to find the case laws, the official website that in the Supreme Court it also used, it's SEC online.
Okay.
And in the Mootcourt competition, we can also use the Manipatra for the case citation. Or if they, as they both are the paid websites, if someone want to use for the first time or using that for the first time, they can either take the 7 days free access of the website, or they can either search from other websites like Indian Qanun, Case Mine, or other websites or case laws. And if someone don't want to use all these websites, they can officially go to the Supreme Court website where all the judgments are there. They can find by typing the case type, either criminal, civil, contract, etc. And if they search, they will get all the case laws
Right.
relevant.
Supreme Court reporter you're talking about, that was recently inaugurated by our Chief Justice of India. Moving forward with my questions, I would like to ask you, Mr. Asim, please tell us what are the legal search engines which the students must rely on so as to find these case laws that Mr. Ritik was just telling about.
Must only be the authenticated sources. SCC Online, as he has stated, Manu Patra, and there are other like Indian Qanun. Although we should not cite Indian Qanun, but Indian Qanun is a free software, so we can definitely use it. There are All India Reporters, SCR, India Law Journal.
A lot of search
A lot
engines
of
are
search
already
engines,
available.
yes.
And I believe when we talk about the reliability, it is definitely different scenario when you talk about the real courts. Therein you have some person's right or liability in your own hands. But when you talk about these moot court competitions, I believe for the sake of students themselves, I believe the moot court competitions and the organizing committees would also allow Indian Qanun for that
Yes.
purpose only.
Yes, there may be sometimes restrictions. In real courts, you cannot use Indian Qanun, but you can definitely refer the books. Otherwise, SCC Online or Manu Patra, you can refer Indian Qanun to find the case laws. But when you have to cite or give the copy of the judgment to the
Right.
court, give either copy of SCC Online, Manu Patra, or any authenticated by the court.
Definitely, so that it would become first of all reliable into the court. And
Yes.
secondly, the admissibility of those judgments is much higher as compared to any photocopy that students try
Yes,
to put forth before the court.
In photocopy, there is always a risk of fabrication.
Right.
Students may edit that. That's why SCC Online, Manu Patra, and all the sources that the court prescribe are considered to be relevant and admissible in the court.
Right.
The credibility point of this judgment is very important because your sole case may depend on the judgment only.
Definitely. Now moving forward, Ritik, I would like to ask you, how can the students access these search engines? If say I am a law student and I have never used any search engine like SCC Online, Manu Patra, or any other proprietary software, please give us a head start as to how can we access the case laws, how can we find the case laws that may support our case.
Firstly, as I said earlier, that a student must read the fact sheet, and when they are rely on the case that yes, I have to find the case law relevant to these sections, then they go to SCC Online. If they are using it for the first time, then there is a simple search option in the SCC Online.
Okay.
They just mention the section number and act name and click on the search button.
Right.
Then all the case laws that are relevant to this section will come, and they can go through all the if a student don't know about which section is this, they can simply type in the search box that I want to case of this for
The
this
keywords can be put in.
keywords can be used. And this also other thing, if a student, as in the internet era, we all use the Google for first research. Then if someone find the citation of any case but he is not able to find the complete case law, then in the SCC Online there is option to search case law by a citation. And even if someone want to search the case from a specific section, then there is also option to find the specific section case law.
Okay. So the students can first of all simply use these sites by going on to their website. They can put in the words, keywords, the sections or the specific act in regard to which they want to find the case laws, and still there are some filtering out which the students can use so as to use the best suited case to their own benefit.
Yes,
Right? Anything else you want to add to
In
this?
case of landmark cases, you may know the party name, so party name can also be used to search the
Okay,
case laws.
right. Like if a student want to find something on basic structure theory, so they can directly put in petitioner or appellant as Krishnendra Bharti and state of Kerala as the respondents or
Exactly.
the opposite side, right? That is a very useful tip that has been given by Mr. Ritik. Now, as we are on the brink of this session, I would like to ask Mr. Asim. Asim, please tell us, after having done all of these research, still there are always chances of some mistakes or ambiguity which might creep in while doing our research work. So would you please tell our viewers any useful tips so that they can polish their research work before their final submissions?
See, the most common mistake that most of us do is we just keep searching on the case laws, and in the end we just have plenty of the cases, but we have not done it in systematic manner. As I've already stated, research is a systematic study of the relevant sources. So while doing research, we came across the cases from both the sides. Suppose we have just collected 100 cases. Now it's very difficult at the time of memorial making and arguments framing, pile up them. So I'll recommend in the starting, make a folder
Okay.
from both sides. Like from petitioner side is a separate folder, for respondent there is second. And in that folder, make some other folders for issues, different issues. Like for petitioner issue 1, this is separate folder, issue 2 separate folder. And you just bifurcate cases on the face. As soon as you got a case law, you know that yes, this case is good to go. Just put that case in that folder only.
Right.
So that in the end, when you will just the final stage of a drafting of your memorial, you will not end up messing all this, and there will be less scope of ambiguity, because when you have those case laws that are already bifurcated, you have to just check whether this case is correct or not.
Right.
And secondly, what you can do is, after your research has been done, you just draft a memorial. After drafting the memorial, just do some basic checks like grammar checks, and also you can ask your teachers or professor or even seniors to check their research whether there is any discrepancy or any ambiguity in your research
work.
So you can do all these things.
Definitely. Anything else you want to add, Ritik?
Other than this, there is a option in the MS Word under the review bar. They can check the grammatical error
Okay.
in the MS Word in the whole document. But is there any grammatical error in the word or in the sentence, so that they can identify that and clear out,
Correct that there and then. In regard to spellings or grammatical mistakes or any other thing, if it is in the English language. Definitely. Well, that marks the end of our this video and this series as well, in which we covered about what are the important parts of a moot court competition. Starting from the introduction, this is the last video in which we covered about the research and how can you given the best efforts so as to ace your researcher skills and research game. I would like to thank Mr. Aseem and Mr. Ritik for their precious time. Thank you so much everyone for being such a patient listeners in this series. If you still have any question or any query, you can ask them in the comment box. Thank you so much.